get, we get, I guess. All right, so next step in
So I lightsabered the dingo and crawled into his body cavity to stay warm. Oh, are we recording?
I was like, what the fuck are we... Oh, right. There's my... I never make phone calls on my phone, you know? It's so weird to do this. I'm not used to this. What do you think we find him on? His mobile? Probably his mobile. He's probably face down, drunk in his own puke.
Right.
All right.
He's going to answer and say, "Hold on, Your Honor. I need to take this call."
My one and only phone call from prison is a podcast.
Right. Hi, man. What's going on?
You know, just we're waiting on you.
Oh, fuck. Today's Wednesday.
Yeah, today is Wednesday.
Son of a bitch. Right, look,
Yeah, we're already recording. Don't worry, you're already in the podcast. It's perfect.
yeah, okay. I can go. Be back in a bit.
Okay, see you there.
Bye.
Bye.
You know what's interesting is he's the one who keeps the calendar.
Yeah, I do appreciate that he's trying to help drive shit. I usually end up having to be the one that, like, hey, let's do something fun, and then like, shit, all I'm doing is making more work for myself. What the fuck am I doing to me? So I'm really happy that Tony at least pretends like he's caring, but then we have these moments, and it's like,
Exactly.
well, here the fuck we are.
Yeah.
Oh man, so yeah, lightsaber, dingo, Tony makes sense.
There you go.
Maybe we should, we can get into a weird subject while we're waiting, because if we don't do it now, Tony's going to bash me the whole fucking hour.
Okay. What's that?
There's this game, Usame Pretty Derby or whatever. I can't remember the full name. Cheers to you.
Chin chin.
Ching ching. And it literally is a horse racing game, but with anime girls.
Okay.
Shut up. I was like, what the fuck is this? And so my friend was playing it, and I was looking at it. I'm like, all right, I'll goof around with it for a little bit. It's like one of those gotcha games. You can play on your phone and all kinds of stuff.
Are they racing around a track?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a steeplechase?
Mm-mm. It's like horse
obstacles?
racing. It's like actual horse racing around a
How
track.
do you make them go?
They just go.
Like
You're
clicking
just a
button,
coach.
or they just go? Is
They
it
just
like
go.
Mario Kart?
No.
You get to drift?
No, not fucking awesome. No, you're just the coach. You just coach them and train them and then watch them fail and keep going. And
We get you just standing over there pressing a button to like cheer them on. Go.
No, not even that.
Run
Like,
faster.
I'm literally right now going through all the storylines as we talk, because I'm just trying to get all the carrots out of it. So like, I don't want to.
So there's a storyline, is what you're telling me.
There's a bit of a storyline. I guess all these anime girls are based off of real horses. I think that are in Japanese horse racing or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, no, I hate to say I'm kind of enjoying it, because like it's not one where I have to focus a whole fucking ton. I literally watch them race, pick up new horses, get cards, train them. I got a club with some other friends and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like Usame Pretty Derby or something like that. It's fucking nuts. And I'm like, once you get over the fact that you're watching anime girls run around a track and act like horses, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, okay.
You're looking at it now, aren't you?
No. I just feel like I've got more questions.
Feel free. When the minute Tony gets here, we stop talking about it, though.
We make no mention of
it. He'll have to find it out in the
racing.
podcast later.
Can you place bets on your anime character?
Not yet. And I guess it's been... And that's one of the things that's really interesting about it is it's been out for years in Japan, and they're just starting to make it worldwide. So we got the very, like, watered down version of it right now. So I'm sure they'll have something around that at some point. But you're training like speed and stamina and power and guts and wits.
If your anime character is running in a race
Mm-hmm.
and they're in first place,
Mm-hmm.
is it possible for them to get winged by a blue shell?
No, there's no Mario crossover. Not yet. Maybe next. But
There's nothing worse than being in first place.
Well, and I originally got into it because I'm like, okay, I'll train up like one or two horses, but oh no, they they fuck you right over. It's a full gotcha game. Like you gotta pick, you gotta pretty much play across the line because of the different horses, because you need to train up horses to get lineage to help with other horses to make better horses till you get to like AA rank, or I guess SS rank horses and stuff. It's fucking nuts. All have different personalities and things like that. I don't know. I could just leave it on in the corner all day, and
Yeah.
that's what I do. I just like
have that over there grinding away instead of doing post-production work.
exactly, and that's why this podcast came out 4 months later. No, I am gonna. I think what I want to do is after we're done, I'm gonna see if I can do if I can just do cheap and dirty. I'm gonna do cheap and dirty. Fuck it if it's lower production quality. It went out. That's all that matters. Instead of
There you
going
go.
through. I mean, the biggest thing I have to do is keep Tony reined in so he doesn't get us canceled.
And you actually get him to show up on time.
Mm,
So I found a website. This is not anime girl horse racing, so maybe not nearly as
Disappointing.
compelling.
right.
But if you,
Like old men talking
Yeah.
about anime race horse racing
you're like
games.
asking your anime character how many TikTok followers do you have, and she's slamming her hoof on the ground.
No, they talk. They actually talk. That's
Oh, okay, all right.
They even talk. They got tails and ears, I guess. You know. Uh-oh. What is?
All right, I put a link in the chat. I stumbled across this thanks to some Reddit.
All right. Now, quickly.
Site.
Unless we're not going to tell you what it means. Oh, geez. Okay, this is fine. All right. Tell me
Hey.
more. Well, we're done.
Oh, we're done.
Not. All right,
We-
why is everything sounding really quiet? Because I haven't touched shit since the last time we did one of these. Are we recording?
We're
Oh, yeah.
recording.
No, yeah.
Have you guys been going? All right, well,
Oh,
welcome,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Inappropriate Calendar.
What you been doing, Tony? Where you?
I have two meetings on Wednesday, and those two meetings, one of
Too
them
many.
was paying me money, and one of them was this one. So the one that's paying me money is at 3:05, and I know exactly when that one is. This
Mhm.
one I could have sworn was tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yes, exactly. Excellent. So, yeah, we didn't say a single thing. We were just waiting for you to get here. So,
Right, just radio silence. This whole time.
absolutely. I can't wait to put out the radio silence.
Didn't somebody make some music guy make $1 bazillion selling an hour-long clip of silence?
Probably.
Maybe.
It's probably the same guy that strapped a banana to a wall.
You know, it's like,
It's just
Jesus.
going down the list. Jesus Christ.
What did we end up with the topic for today? Because
Oh,
I was
didn't.
going.
I got a
was
bunch.
I was behind two. You know, the
Mhm.
first being, of course, you know, does Agile suck so loudly that the youngsters can't hear me screaming at them to get off my lawn? And the other was the worst demos we've either seen or be involved in.
Kind
Yeah.
of with the worst demos, personally, since what's been happening. But, like, let's start with, what's actually been going on. Russ, what you been doing, man?
All right,
What
look,
have
before
I
we
been
get too
doing?
far down what the fuck Russ has been doing,
We're already 8 minutes in.
look, gentlemen, I'm bailing at 1500. So
No, don't worry about it. We're done. We'll get an hour in. We just started
good.
without you. We
I'm
took
gonna-
your advice.
1500 yet. You can't leave yet.
Yeah.
I'm just dropping trow and getting comfortable now. Okay,
Glad
Send
we're
it.
a visual medium.
Gotta
Send it.
let them breathe.
Yeah. Get the
When
bugly
the chickens
smugglers out
fly
there.
free, the
Exactly.
podcast scores high ratings.
Jesus Christ. Russ, save us from ourselves. Go.
I have recommitted myself to the hammock lifestyle, Rob. I went out to staff some canoe races over the weekend, which didn't mean I got to paddle, but it did mean I got to be outdoors. But unfortunately, like camping in Texas, your tree selection is sometimes limited, especially on a river.
Right.
And so I was like, well, I had to bring, a ground sleeping system like a chump just in case. And I had to utilize it. And at one point on Sunday morning, when I got up, I was not sure if I was going to be able to become upright again. Like, I was like, I don't know how I'm getting off the ground. Just-
Was it because of the the work before, or the absolute shitty sleep you
Just the
got on the
absolute
ground?
shitty sleep. I wasn't working that hard before. I was just like
don't you
traffic
have a
copping the canoeists as I got in the water. It was pretty easy, but
don't you have a thermarest though, Rust? Weren't we talking about this?
Yeah, I have multiple thermarests. I've not,
And
and
all
I do
layered
not.
up.
You do not chintz on a good night's sleep. But I was pretty miserable, and it wasn't even that I was miserable. Like it's fine. Like I managed to get through the 2 nights on the ground, but it was really just like the effect. Like I don't know that I've ever actually experienced this kind of like trauma, and and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stand up right away.
Oh,
So I guess you could say I was having trouble getting erect in the morning after sleeping all night on
You know,
back
that
on the
happens
ground.
at our age.
I'm not going to be able to shift that mental image without significant amount of booze.
Well, it was at a scout camp, so I think they probably it's by design.
Were you wearing your collar?
Surprisingly banned. So
Oh my goodness.
All right, well, so I haven't been doing much, except trying to, generate revenue. But apart from that, pretty much, the last one that we published was Poop in a Pan Part 3, or Part 4 it was, actually.
I think it's called it Rob Gets Wrecked.
That's the one where we do not talk about poop in a pan.
No, definitely not.
Right, because we don't.
Right.
Yeah,
so ladies and gentlemen who have listened to the previous podcast, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Russ sent a text message or a Discord entry or something saying that, he was a bit outraged because he'd flown all the way up from Texas to the Pacific Northwest, and we made him carry a pan full of burnt poop, human poop, outside and clean it. And the only thing that Rob and I could do is tell him, well, technically it's only partially burnt human poop.
And that made him feel way
I
better.
could do that for free here.
No, you can't. Come on, man.
Just need a little ingenuity and a pan.
And some fire, maybe some paper to go with it.
Apparently, I don't even need a fire. So,
well, you need a bit of a fire.
A bit of you want a char. You want a nice sear on it.
You want a crispy edges.
Yeah.
Since we're already down this rabbit hole, and sooner or later Sarah's going to catch on to what the fuck we're doing. Have you ordered the parts yet?
No. I didn't go to Squirrel Cages R Us to buy the squirrel cage.
We still
no,
have the
primarily
skeleton.
because we spent all that time laughing about the lack of squirrel cage and how it was badly put together. None of us thought to actually measure the squirrel cage.
Oh, shit.
So the next time I'm out there, I have to wait until Sarah's taken the dogs on a walk through the shrubbery somewhere. Then I'll run downstairs, disassemble the toilet, measure that broken part of the squirrel cage, and then we can buy the squirrel cage replacement.
Oh, man. We are,
ladies
so much
and
trouble.
gentlemen, if you haven't worked out yet, we are 3 guys that are absolutely committed to the incredible accuracy of our craft. We think things through, we don't make mistakes, we plan, we deliver. We're not just like douche nozzles sitting around bitching about agile and dry lawns.
That's right. We also own a construction company. Measure once, cut 3 times.
It's worth doing 3 or 4 times.
There's never enough time to do it right. There's always enough time to do it again.
Hey, man. We have so many slogans we got to put on our letterhead, Tony. I think by the time we're done, we should put out letterhead that is just all the slogans, and there's just a little bit at the bottom where you can actually write.
No. These are watermarks, Rob.
Oh.
Like, printed diagonally across the page like a dollar bill, So everything's printed on it, but you can tell it's an official one because of all the watermarks. Yeah.
And half of them are, and we'll know if it's fake or not because they'll be spelled properly if it isn't ours.
Right.
Because we're just going to quarter ass all of that stuff.
Absolutely. So, have you found actual employment again, or is it just back on contract stuff?
No, I'm doing some contracting, back doing contracting stuff because uh, it's one of those things. I don't really know what I want to do, but I do know that I want to get paid. And so it's a matter of thinking through like what I want to do. I have a certain set of skills, and it's a matter of finding a company that I want to work with on a product and stuff that I want to work on.
That
and
also
doing
doesn't
that.
have a big legal team.
Look,
HR.
if you cannot be involved in at least $1 or $2 billion lawsuits while you're employed, life isn't worth living, right?
I
So,
kind of get it. I've been there.
So that's a matter. Just being out looking at stuff, trying to work out what you want to do. But while you're doing that, you still have expenses, So these carnitas are not going to pay for themselves. So
true, and we got to fly the cook in.
That's right.
So we got to go out. So I got to go out, generate some revenue and that, and keep looking around. And even when you're contracting, it's still about like I'm not going to go contract I won't contract for Google, for example, unless they pay me a shit ton of money. In which case, then I will absolutely contract for Google. If you're listening, Google, feel free to call me.
Right. Everyone has a price.
This is my ethics level. This is what it takes to change my ethics.
That's it.
I agree with that
not
statement.
mercenary. It's like my schnauzers. They'll bark at you until you treat them, and then they're like your best friends at that point. But if you stop at the treats, they'll bark at you again. So
this is like your LinkedIn tagline: compromising my ethics for remuneration for decades now.
The first time you sell your soul is when you get the most return on that investment.
That's right. No one forgets the first time they sell their soul.
Everything after that is just incremental revenue.
That's right.
Right.
So how about you, Rob?
Me, pretty decent. I've been, I would say I've been doing a lot of like odd job work instead of like I'm still doing software with, with my cousin, things like that. But outside of that, like video production, been doing some photo shoot work, getting paid through that. And then I'm starting
working.
They don't know what the line pit.
He's
But and outside of that, I start getting these weird emails because apparently everyone's trying to get back into subprime loan development, and they're like, "Hey, you built one of those companies? Come talk to us about it." And I finally like respond to one like, "All right, like, what do you fucking really want out of me? Like, let's really talk about this."
That's the Rob economic bubble indicator.
Pretty much.
Was it Churchill or W.C. Fields that said, like, we've already determined what you are, now we're just negotiating price?
Exactly.
Right.
So I think it was Fields.
I'd like to say it was Churchill, but it seems more in Fields.
Seems more like a W.C.
Fields.
Fields.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Fields. Oh my god, that's terrible. Yeah, but that's true. That's kind of what's going on. I'm kind of like you. I'm staring at the tech market. I'm watching them slim down and figure out what the fuck's going on, and I don't see where I fit in the picture right now. So.
I'm sort of looking. I sort of like what they've done with the H-1Bs. You're not to get all political because we're a tech thing.
Yes,
but and I can say this because I came here to the US on an H-1B, right? Back in the day when H-1Bs actually were for exceptional talents and me. And so,
glad we differentiated that.
When I came here, there were 3 or 4 people in the world doing what I did. And so,
heavily drinking and pretending to do technology.
I thought there was a lot more people doing that.
I thought so.
There's a lot more people now, right? But
well, see, the thing is, you have to be able to heavily drink and still do the thing.
Doing it well is operative.
So I like the fact because I came on and I was being paid the same as everyone else in the group, if not a little more. I got signing bonuses and stuff like that, and so it wasn't a case of we're just going to bring in person X for a third of your price, and you have to train them before we fire your ass, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
So adding that thing onto the H-1B thing, I think will make the market better. I was reading an article from the Hindustan Times. Seems like a made-up place, but apparently it's a real paper news thing. And they were saying that they had a quote from some company or some analyst in India that said that at $100,000, that exceeds the yearly wage of an H-1B by by $20,000 to $30,000 a year, right? And so that means that actually, that the average wage then of H-1B must be 70 to 80.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So tell
Right.
me it's not causing wage
Right,
deflation.
and it's like every dev I worked with was on at least 150K,
Yeah.
and so, they're bringing these guys in to, not because they're exceptional talents, not because
Right.
they're exceptional drinkers, but because they're half the price of a
Yeah. Yeah.
US citizen.
I definitely saw H-1Bs when they like early 20 something years ago, right? Where I felt like the company I was at was a small startup, and it was used the way it was intended. Well, the way we're supposed to
Right.
perceive it, right? Which
Right.
is we had interviewed dozens of folks and could not find the right person, and found one person who was a great fit, and it didn't change what the offer was. It meant we had to jump through a bunch of paperwork and legal hoops, and we were happy to do it for the talent, but it didn't decrease like what we were offering anybody. It was like, no, we looked, this was the one, right? And but yeah, it seems like anymore you can't swing a dead cock without hitting a H-1B, and it doesn't
Well,
seem special.
well, and
Look,
as
there
at
was an
Amazon,
article on. Sorry, there was an article on Slashdot, I think it was, just recently. Now that is a hive of scum and villainy, second only to Washington D.C. But the
Was 4chan down? Like, what were you doing?
there's
right,
credible
that's a
reporting.
hive of scum and villainy, secondly only to 4chan and
There you
Washington
go.
D.C. Right. The there's some service that's now gone out and is trawling through all of the H-1B filings to find jobs and posting these listings of jobs. And they're starting to get calls from the recruiters that work for the companies that are posting these jobs, asking, how did you find out about this? We don't even know this job has been posted. Because, apparently what these guys are doing, like in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, it's printed, buried in, a bucket of peat, put in a disused toilet with a banner across the front saying, beware of the leopard, right? That's the job posting. It's, oh, look, nobody applied, therefore we can hire the person, I think a lot of that, it's like, the point of the H-1B is to get the best people in the US, right?
Mhm.
Now ignore me.
Right.
The point of it is to get, the US should be a shining beacon of all the best people doing the best things, doing it, that can be possibly done. And that's the point of that visa category, is to say, look, we want to get this. Anybody can write VB form apps or do Oracle, like
JavaScript.
CRM, page coding or SAP adaption or whatever. So you can get any number of people that'll go do that. And they should be Americans. They shouldn't be, foreigners. And I can say this because I'm actually a foreigner. I'm not an American. I'm not an American citizen. I'm here on a green card. I'm stealing your women and paying your taxes.
You don't even get our Social
Surprisingly,
Security.
spending an inordinate amount of time at a Home Depot doing that.
You'd be
For
surprised
different reasons.
You'd be surprised at the number of tech companies that need a good set of window insulation done.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at Amazon, I was running a team, and I'm fairly comfortable in saying no one that worked for me was a U.S. citizen. And I think the last I looked, there are over 14,000 H-1Bs at Amazon or something like that. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, in the last year, I think I saw this. Amazon was approved for 15,000, or the last whatever period of time was approved for 15,000 H-1Bs, and Microsoft was approved for 6. And both those companies have laid off 100,000 plus people in the last thing. It's like, why are you getting H-1Bs if you're laying people off? It's. I get it. We've talked about this back in the layoff culture episode, right? But
It's really
you
kicking up lately.
right? But you shouldn't be asking for H-1Bs when you're bringing in, you know, level 60 bog standard forms developer, when you're laying off, you know, higher level people, you should be saying, hey, look, you're going to have to go work on this shitty job for a while until we can, you know, the market recovers and we need you to go work on something better. And you should be cycling people through and looking after them. I'm not saying I'm not going so far as to say rubber room it like they do with teachers in New York, right? We're not going to lay you off. We're going to put you in a room and you get full pay and you can like do nothing for years until we need another teacher.
They just pull you out of storage and put you in a room.
You know, there's stories of guys that live there and they fully paid teachers running their own business with multiple mobile phones while sitting in the thing. But
like in the teacher's lobby.
Yeah, it's out of control. But they should be looking after the local people, citizens, getting people to do the job that are the best people to do the job that are in the country legally, and you know, controlling the whole thing that way. And again, it's a little bit harsh for me to say that, especially considering that I am one. You know,
at least you're fair. So speaking of doing the best job possible, we wanted to talk about shitty demos.
Oh, shitty demos have got like a great history of stuff.
Did you see the meta? Well, to start out, did you guys see any of the stuff with Meta and just how they were trying to show off their new glasses and just the Wi-Fi? Apparently, they kept blaming the Wi-Fi for all the problems.
I haven't seen this.
Oh man, it was bad. I think one out of one out of every 3 or 4 demos even did the thing it was supposed to do. Seems like it was very compliant to the web.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is like, so Microsoft had the same problem at Build this year. If you watched all the AI demos they did at Build, you know, half of them had that same network connectivity problem. And the reason being is that, you know, you put 3,000 people in the one location and you try and let people connect to stuff, and it just doesn't work. Plus, you never know if you're hitting a live service. Everyone could be hitting that live service at exactly the same time. So your demo is non-deterministic. And so what we would do back in the day, you know, when Computex was a big thing down in Vegas, you know, when they had the two convention centers, you know, Computex in one and the Adult Video Awards in the other, running at the same time. And
it was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time. It was a better time. We
used to actually record our demos to Laserdisc. You know, this is how far back it goes. We used to record them to Laserdisc. And then we would have a script and we would hire an actor to stand on stage, run the Laserdisc, and act like he was clicking and typing while the Laserdisc ran. So that there was absolutely zero chance, short of the Laserdisc player itself dying, right? There was zero chance that the demo could fail, even if it was hitting, you know, even if they, you know, we put the credentials up on the screen that, you know, would allow the audience to try and hack it, you know. And I think that's some of this problem. When you're hitting live production services, you're hitting live production services, you know, and nobody writes demo code that has proper error handling. You know.
Well, for sure.
But we like to live on the edge. So I've been in some demos where, you know, early on where, you know, you'll say, you're like, yeah, we can make that happen. We can do that. Right. And I remember working with this product and we were really trying to like use the product's extensibility as like an escape hatch for everything that they asked for. Well, yeah, no, that's not out of the box, but you can add your own attributes and calculations and right? You can just configure that. And they asked, I forget now exactly what it was that they were asking for, but they were like, yeah, that's that's just a configuration. They're like, okay, well, we're going to break for lunch. So why don't you guys configure that while we're eating? Everyone, the CEO just turns to me like, I was like, I know what I'm doing for lunch, boss. Configure the shit out of this.
So we also used to do multi-machine live demos. So what we would have is we'd have a VP on stage that would do the demo. And then behind stage, we'd have 2 or 3 other machines with the exact same code base on them. And somebody would be following through the demo so that if the one on
Oh,
stage died,
you could hot
you
swap
you
the
would
demo.
KVM it straight over to the other machine,
Okay,
and they could just continue on as though it would work.
that's pretty good.
And I remember standing. So I did a demo of Visual Studio in Barcelona way back, and my VP is there. And back here in Redmond, I had given him the demo script, and he's like, "Why am I doing all these stupid steps?" And I went, "Boss,
You want it to work, don't you?
this is the only way I could find through the entire, because we just changed the entire visual code base of DevEnv, right? So the thing was spitting, gum holding it together. Mate, you have to hit every one of these things. This is the only way to get to where we want to get.
So you're
without
setting
it.
him up in front of like an H.G. Wells machine with dials and knobs.
Yeah, and I'm saying you've got to switch this, you've got to check that, you've got to click here. When you click this button, wait 3 seconds, then click the next one. It's that sort of stupid stuff. But we went through it, and he's like, he's got it. And he's done the demo, and it's all working. I'm saying, okay, for the love of God, do not deviate from the script when you're on stage. So, of course, he gets up there, does the first quarter of the demo, and then goes completely off script. And the thing goes like, and just collapses, capsizes, bursts into flames, all that sort of thing. And I'm behind him, and I just KVM button. And he sees it collapse, and then it comes back up at exactly where his mouse should be ready to click. And he's like, yeah, they told me I shouldn't leave the script, and they were absolutely correct. And he just clicked the button and just kept going on. Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right, Rob, you got a horror story?
No, I don't.
Every demo goes smooth for you?
Every demo went
the golden child
swinging for me. I had a lot of. I think maybe the weirdest thing that happened to me is during location awareness, and we're working on some stuff there. I built out this huge map tool to kind of show it off. And I think the biggest problem with it is I literally like fever dreamed it the night before we had to go up on stage. So after we showed it off to everybody and it did the thing it was supposed to do, everybody's like, "Can we get the sample script, the demo script?" And it's like, no. So we got a lot of feedback for that because you wouldn't want to look at that code. I was probably half drunk, half asleep the night before, but we needed something to show how this mapping and the geofencing was going to work and what would happen. And I'm just throwing shit at the wall. And I'm like, cool, that worked.
So not a lot of error handling.
No. Remember that thing he said about demos have no error handling? Yeah, no, I was error handling.
I built a demo for Steve Ballmer once. This is way back in the early 90s, and it was the super demo. It was 28 products in 22 minutes. And the thing ran, and the demo worked perfectly.
Well, these things I had a tiger.
Worked perfectly. People loved it, and I had mates of mine that were, IT people, and that looks awesome, blah, blah. I was like, now, all right, let me tell you what went on there. And afterwards, after I told them that, you could just see that their eyes had drained, their belief in humanity had failed at that point, and they're like, I'll never believe another demo in my life. And I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't. So so let me go through some of the things that I'm just remembering right now. Fox Pro demo. Part of the Fox, we showed Fox Pro searching a 1 million row database. 1 million? Or 100 million row database. Sub-second response to searching. Why was that? Well, that's because there were 27 rows of data and 99,999,970 rows of nulls, and everything was a clustered index. So there were only like 25 index entries. Bam! And then there was a bit where we were doing a remote call across the SQL server, and we wanted to show the CPUs going up, and being hit. Well, none of that shit worked remotely, right, at the time, because NT actually hadn't shipped. It existed, but it hadn't shipped at that point in time. So what I had was a keyboard on the floor under the table I was demoing from, and I had a batch script set up to do a dir/s from the root directory. And at that point, when I clicked on the demo piece and saying, here we go, and we're querying our database now, and I had the performance monitor running, I stepped on the
this
enter
with your
key
toe?
with my toe on the keyboard, and that caused a performance spike that we could see in the whole thing. Right? And then what else did I? Oh, I did 3270 terminal emulation, which was just a bunch of ANSI control codes done in a batch script on NT. So you could type whatever the hell you wanted to, and it would just give you a 3270 screen, as though it looked like it was real. And it was like, the whole thing was smoke and mirrors.
There was in 2006 MGX. It was in Orlando. It's basically the marketing group's big demo thing, and it was right when I joined the kernel team, and so they just needed a bunch of sucker volunteers to go down and help the sales team install Windows ME onto their laptops while they were there. And we basically ran like a bar where the salespeople could, like, it was a full convention, but it was just fucking Microsoft salespeople. Like, you had a convention floor and everything. I was like, what the this is so crazily internal, it's nuts. But one of the things was like an install bar that we were running, and I just remember working with these guys installing these the Windows ME on all these boxes, and the other part of the team were people from the ME group trying to justify how this is going to be a good OS while we're just destroying these guys' laptops one by one.
Here's your brick, sir.
Here's your new brick.
And MGX and MGS and that were the single biggest cause of divorces, I think, at Microsoft.
It was a 2-drink minimum, dog.
It was like a 4-drink minimum just to get into the conference. It's like with Dunny doors banging like a hurricane.
I mean, I guess I'm out of Microsoft long enough. I know, like, Microsoft paid for crazy stuff there. I think we bought all the drinks for some bachelorette party one time. It's definitely strip clubs involved. I was like, holy crap, how do they get away with, like, you go through all the security training and all the ethics training.
That's how you go through the ethics training. It's like there was one ethics training that went on. Standards of business conduct was actually the technical name of the training. And I'm looking at all the examples they showed, and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, we did that. We did that. We did that. Shit, we did that too. So, Are you guys just using all the shit we got in trouble for
and still getting in trouble for? It's totally true.
I love the standards of business conduct training, how it's now become just simply a checkbox to cover, Microsoft's ass, when they fire you for doing something illegal. Because the examples are like, Rob goes up to Russ. Russ is the German minister for information technology. And Russ says to Rob, it's like, if you give my son a $500,000 no-show job at Microsoft Corporation and sponsor his green card, we'll award this, billion-dollar IT contract to you. Should Rob say yes or no to that? It's like,
he should click no here.
I think the first question is, do I have a monocle and a cool German accent before you answer that question?
That's right.
It was like the examples were so incredibly brazen that, because corruption doesn't occur and nobody walks up to you and goes, hey, Russ, here's a bag of cash. Please commit this crime. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone, well,
not usually.
Would do
not
more
on the reg.
But, not a lot of the time. But what they do is they say, would you do this little thing? And then would you do this extra little thing? And then they do this extra little thing.
Just record this podcast one time, he says.
and eventually they
and now you're in with us.
Right. Eventually they get you so far out of your skis.
You're in too deep.
Now, like, you got to do it, right? And so the example should be, it's like, hey, look, we want to make you happy. We want to give you the right stuff, deliver on this. How about you send your architect and your chief security guy over to our conference here? We'll pay for the conference entry. You pay for accommodation. And then they can learn about our stuff. This is why governments say you can't get you can't have more than a $5 gift.
And now he must run away to get plausible deniability, just as Russ did.
Unless it's a 747.
Yeah, right.
Say that while Tony has stepped away. Hypothetically.
Hypothetically. No, I mean, that would never really happen. Oh, man.
So once upon a time I had to do a demo. I had to support a demo that was happening in Utrecht, and so
Where's
at
that?
in the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
And it was a whirlwind kind of thing where it's like, look, we just need you there in case their tech people need to do the technical butt sniffing, right? And in case anything goes wrong with the machine. And this was at a time where we were running the demo. It was a web application, but it was all running on, one guy's laptop. So we didn't have to worry about network connectivity problems and all that. Just everything's running self-contained. And I was really just there to look pretty in the back of the room. And it was very much like a whirlwind. Like the demo was on a Monday, so like I flew out on a Sunday afternoon overnight. So demo must have been on a Tuesday, and get to Amsterdam in that late afternoon, dinner with the sales wanks, demos the next morning, and at like 1 o'clock in the morning the night before the demo, and after traveling, flying overseas and all of that, I get a knock on my door, and it's the sales engineer, and his laptop that he's going to run the demo on has crashed, like the hard drive crashed, and there is no backup. So it was very much like, okay, well, we've got 6 hours to rebuild the system from scratch on a different box that's got a working hard drive, and make sure it's all ready to go. So that, well, good thing I'm here to do that. So I basically flew over there, went to dinner with the sales wanks, and then stayed up all night building out this demo. And then I had to go look pretty in the room on Tuesday morning.
Whack out your mind.
And
back when I was on Visual Studio, we actually standardized our hardware.
Yeah.
All of the PMs had the same laptops. We all had the same hard drives. We all ran the same stuff.
Builds.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah.
This actually happened to me at a trade show. A Visual C++ guy was up there on the stand, just started his talk. And he was a new hire, and he was a really good guy. He ended up being Bill Gates' speechwriter, I think, at some point. He was a really good guy. He did this, but he was nervous because it was his first time talking to a crowd of people. And he dropped his cup of water on his laptop, and the whole thing just, it's like, you see in the movies, like it just was fizz, sparks and stuff. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm in the room, and I just grabbed my laptop, pulled the hard drive out, go up to the desk, say, you keep talking, do your slides. I pulled the hard drive out of his machine, dry it off. It didn't get any water in the connection, so the hard drive's probably okay. In reboot his machine, say, okay, here you go, Jeff. I went back, sat down, and Jeff was able to log back in, go and start his presentation, and his demo again. But if we hadn't had the same machine, like if I had bought a Lenovo and he'd bought a Toshiba, completely boned. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking the other way around, but yeah. There's a reason why, like, when we had any critical demos that we ever had to do, it was always 2 laptops or 3 laptop minimum all set. Because you had the KVM ones that Tony was talking about.
Yeah.
You had your main one on stage.
Well, and we actually would do if it was an SLT demo, like at the time that was Gates or Borma or one of his directs.
Senior level tech, yeah.
It'd actually be 2 people would have 2 complete systems and would fly on 2 different planes to get to. No, I'm deadly serious, right?
No, I had to do that. No, I did that. That was one of them.
We didn't want to take the chance of having a plane go down and losing the one demo machine or losing both demo machines. Yeah, they didn't care that. Okay, yeah, somebody just died.
Yes, also, so we just lost a valuable
the demo.
employee.
That's more important than that.
Lose the demo and lose like millions. I mean, the amount of money that goes into some of these conferences, it makes sense. I mean, they matter. Like the stuff that comes out of that is a lot of PR, a lot of push, and it's social crowdsourcing for getting your product out. So it's very important to get them. So yeah, so someone died, but the good news is we still got our demo.
Yeah, Hey, Rob, you got to land the plane because I got to go.
Okay, so here's what we're
Spear it
gonna
into
do.
the ground.
This is just all I
Absolutely.
want to do is interrupt you from keep you from landing the plane now.
Oh, you can go. I'm just going to leave. There's a